taking my sister to court and telling people because she sold my memorabilia. I, M25, am from a very rich family, but parents were absent for my childhood. I have 3 siblings, Mike, M22, Liz, F20, and Jane, F18. By the time my siblings came, parents had noticed that they weren't caring for me as they should, so they showed my siblings more love, but Jane was always the golden child. Most of my childhood was raised by my grandpa. I'm aware that I come from an extremely privileged lifestyle, being showered in money and connections, but I've always felt empty when it came to family, except my grandpa. While he still doted on my siblings, it was obvious he favored me. To the extent that when he passed earlier this year, he left me a grand inheritance. Among it was some memorabilia of times I had with him. Sport events, shows, musicals, cruises, signatures, gear. Stuff if sold would go into the thousands. Monetary value aside, the memories I had with my grandpa were priceless. When his will was read, I think the parents knew why I was given such a larger share compared to my siblings. My relationship with them had gotten better as we cared for my grandpa in his last years, and they did try to care more. But my siblings were argumentative, especially Jane. Jane is a hypocritical person. While in her social circles she championed equality, she was the most spoilt at home and demanded her share of everything. While Mike and Liz grudgingly accepted the inheritance share, Jane yelled, screamed, threw things, all but demanding that my inheritance be given to her. She even accused me of being a bastard, which was enough to get my parents to for once shut her down. Fast forward to last month, when I visited the family house, I noticed a lot of missing memorabilia. I thought perhaps they were being stored away, but then found out that Jane had taken them with some of her friends. My parents were surprised I didn't know, as according to Jane, I had agreed to sell them to charity. I didn't say a word more. I contacted my lawyer and told them to charge Jane for larceny, and I had the news spread. Naturally, Jane was extremely taken aback. Last week, my family called an intervention meeting. My parents had by now learnt that I never agreed to selling, but they still wanted me to drop the charges and deal with it internally. Jane, of course, was hysterical, as this kind of drama could easily displace her in her social circles, especially as her friends were under the same impression that I had donated it. Frankly, I couldn't care less. I have little empathy to my siblings, and I know my parents are trying, but they still side with Jane more. I wrote them off and said that the only way I would drop the charge is if I get my memorabilia back, the actual items and not the monetary value. My friends, whose opinions I do value, think I may be going too far as to charge my own family, and that it's quite a whole move to spread around the fact that Jane had stolen from me, as the downfall of my family socially could be extremely negative. But I think I'm not the whole, hence why I'm here. Comment 1. NTA. It's good that you are standing up for yourself, and I hope you can get the memorabilia back. If she actually sold it to charity, there is a tiny chance they give them back as they were stolen, and there is an ongoing investigation. I would consider adding her friends who help her to the charge as accomplices. You will see how fast they turn to her to save themselves. Otherwise they might say that you told them to sell them. Comment 2. NTA. Your sister deliberately stole your property to augment her social status. I'd personally ensure that her social circle knew that she was a thief. If your parents are siding with Jane, ask them how did they let Jane take your stuff without verifying, especially when they knew the drama Jane caused at inheritance. I'd tell them if they keep on siding with Jane, I'd sue them too, for being an accomplice in theft and larceny. Honestly, it is ridiculous that they think that suing would damage the family name, and being a literal criminal would not. Sue with everything you've got, do not let her have an inch of land to stand on. Comment 3. NTA. Jane needs a reality check in the form of a nice lawsuit. They are ruining the family's reputation, not you. She is disgracing herself by being a thief. Story 2. Not staying home for the night with my daughter while my wife goes out with friends? Background: my wife rarely goes out with friends, 6 times/year, and has never been very social and prefers spending time with me. I am more social, but that has declined as we have focused on our family. We have a 2-year-old daughter, and I spend time with the same 3 friends once/week for games night, sometimes in person, sometimes online. I have another 3 friends that I see only once every 2 months, also for games night. If I go out, my wife will tend to our daughter. I often still help with dinner/bedtime, but sometimes leave earlier than this. Our daughter's bedtime is 7:30 p.m., and she often sleeps through the night without fuss, wakes up fussing maybe 5% of the time. I always offer for my wife sleep in the next day, or something similar in exchange for me going out so that it's not a one-sided thing. Scenario: my wife made plans to spend an evening this weekend out with friends. She would be out from 6 p.m. until late. After she made those plans, I was invited to my friend's birthday thing with my second friend group. If I went, I would be gone from 5 p.m. until late. Last time I saw them was exactly 1 month ago. I brought this plan up with my wife as I wanted to make arrangements for a family member to take our daughter for the evening. She was irritated by this, and argued that I should stay home. I have since spoken with a family member who is happy to take our daughter at 5 p.m. and have her stay the night, and I have communicated this to my wife. I made it clear that this will not affect her plans at all. I will be responsible for drop-off and pick-up of our daughter, and will not ask anything of my wife because I understand that it is rare for her to have a night out like this, and so I don't want her to change her plans at all. She still thinks that I should stay home. Her arguments: she says that since she always covers for me, that I should also cover for her. She doesn't want to ask this family member to have our daughter for the night because she thinks we ask too much of them. My arguments: I am covering for her as she does not have to change her plans and doesn't have to do anything for our daughter. This family member loves watching our daughter, and my wife is often quick to agree to leave our daughter there for sleepovers, plenty of other evenings out of convenience, e.g., we will be there for dinner and put our daughter to sleep there so we can visit longer, then we will leave her there for the night, so I don't see why this time it's too much to ask. I feel like she wants me to stay home as a form of punishment for going out more frequently than she would prefer. Punishment feels too strong of a word. I don't think there is any major resentment behind this or anything, I just don't know how else to describe the feeling. Comment 1. Look, YTA either way, but what I haven't seen anyone mention is that you said you would be responsible for pick-up and drop-off. Sir, your daughter is 2 years old. Picking her up after her bedtime is disruptive to her schedule, and quite frankly, as a mother to 3 toddlers, this will make her cranky and want her mother. Not only that, I'm guessing your daughter wakes up fairly early, so are you planning to get up with her in the morning? Let's be real, you said your wife rarely goes out. Give her this. Stay home with your daughter and get up with her in the morning. Comment 2. YTA, really inconsiderate here. Parenting your daughter isn't a punishment, it's what happens when you decide to have a child with your wife. You go out much more often than she does. Your wife understandably wants you to take care of her for one night, and I totally understand not trusting even family with her, if that's the issue. Most CSA comes from family. Disregarding any of that, you're her father and she's your daughter. Why is it so hard for you to watch her? Shirking the responsibility onto someone else instead of watching her for one night is wrong. Your friends should understand you have a child and can't go out whenever. Grow up, she's your child too. Comment 3. Your wife goes out 6 times a year. That's 6 nights that you are required to be the dad, and it's too much for you? YTA and your wife may be questioning your commitment level. Story 3. Telling my parents that if they give my brother money, I will stop giving them money. My F32 brother, 35, is trash. He has multiple baby mamas and is a deadbeat. He also is the apple of my mom's eye. He can do no wrong and is just misunderstood. My parents are retired and on a fixed budget. I do well for myself and I help them out. I give them maybe $500 a month to help with groceries and bills. Every once in a while I will give them extra for an unexpected expense. No questions asked. My mom asked me for $2,000. I sent it to her. Strangely enough, I ran into my brother at a family wedding I had been told he could not afford to attend because it was a destination wedding. Weird. Funny story, he actually missed the wedding because he hooked up with some rando on an excursion and went to their resort. It was our cousin's wedding and my aunt was pissed. She had to make special arrangements to get him included on the trip since he only got the money last minute. She said my mom shouldn't have given him the money if he wasn't even going to show up. Then she shut up after she saw the look on my face. I enjoyed the wedding and had a great time. When I got home, I went to see my parents. I asked my mom why she had asked for the $2,000. She lied and said something for the house. I asked what. She couldn't say. I told her what my aunt said. I told her and my father that from now on I wanted receipts for any money I gave them. I said I have no problem helping them, but I will be damned if I work my ass off for her to give my money to my piece of shit brother. She started crying and my dad said that they weren't children and didn't answer to me. I agreed and walked out. I didn't talk to them for 2 months. My aunt called me yesterday and told me that my parents were thinking of going to the food bank since they didn't have any money. I said I had given them $2,000 a couple of months ago and that was more than my family of 3 spent on food on that time. She said I knew damn well they had given my money to my brother. I told her that he should probably pay them back then. She said I was being a witch. Comment 1. OP, your NTA, your parents are. They've created this monster and now you're supporting him. They're using you as a cash cow. Yes, it's true they don't answer to you, but if you're footing the bill then they damn well better tell you where the money is going. And your aunt calling you a bee is funny. If she cares so much about your parents, she should be footing the bill. Which I highly doubt. BC people are always one to talk but never to sign the check. Stand your ground and let them suffer a little so they understand. They won't die over eating some food from the food bank for once. Comment 2. NTA. If your mom truly believed she had done no wrong, why did she repeatedly lie to you? She doesn't even have the conviction of purpose to justify her actions. She chose to steal from you to support your brother. She can live with that choice, and the loss of income from it. And if your aunt is so passionate about your parents' plight, she just hosted a destination wedding for her kids. She can surely support her sister in her hour of need, right? It's what family would do. Comment 3. NTA. They're on a fixed income and instead of using an additional supplement wisely, they wasted it on your brother. If all it took was 2 months of no financial support to need a food bank, they should have been more diligent with what they were receiving. Your aunt can call you all the names in the book, but her anger is misdirected. She should be mad at her sibling for wasting the support they received. Your parents don't answer to you, and you're not responsible for providing a gravy train. Story 4. Telling my son that his pregnant ex is going to live with us no matter what he says, and giving his college fund to her. I, 44F, am a single mom to my son, he's 18. I work full-time and make a decent money, and I have some savings set aside from what my late husband left us. I have been building a college fund for my son for past several years, and he knows this and was fully expecting to receive it when he graduates this year. Okay, so over the past couple years he's dated several girls for a few weeks to months at a time. They all seemed nice enough, and he was having a good time, so I didn't mind, as long as he was careful. But about 3 months ago he brought home his latest girlfriend, Lisa, she's 17, and we really formed a connection. She doesn't have a great home life, and started seeing me as a trusted adult in her life. Yesterday she called me in tears, and she was almost hysterical, so I told her please come over straight away, it's going to be okay. She asked if my son was home and I said he was not. She came over and I tried to comfort her, and she said that she was pregnant and her parents were kicking her out of the house. I told her she could stay with us and would always be welcome here. She said she wasn't sure about that, in a kind of sarcastic and angry way. I asked her why and she said my son broke up with her because she was pregnant. I was furious with him. He was out with his friends and I called him repeatedly until he picked up, and I told him I cannot believe I have raised such a selfish person who cannot even be bothered to support the girl he claimed to love, and his own child. I said even if he does not want to take responsibility for this, Lisa and her baby are going to be part of our family, that she is going to live with us. I said I would give his college fund to her to help her start a life for herself and the baby. He was shocked and said I should be in his corner because I'm his mom. I said, well, F that, you don't deserve to have someone in your corner right now. Then I hung up on him. He came home late at night and went straight to his room. This is such a messed up situation. I just want to hear someone else's opinion. Am in the wrong here? Was I too harsh? Is there something I could be missing? Edit, my son knows it's his child. When I called him I was angry, but I did give him a chance to explain. He said he knew about the pregnancy and didn't want to deal with the kid now, and that if Lisa didn't want to abort then it's her problem. He didn't have any doubt that it is his child. Both of them knew beforehand that she might be pregnant but hoped she was not. Then Lisa got a pregnancy test and found out that she was. Also, I'm not going to just hand 50k to a 17-year-old. I'm keeping the money to use to support all of them, and not allowing my son to use it all for his education. That's all I meant. I still want my son to go to college, but I can't afford to fully pay his way and still have money left to support my grandchild in the future, because I don't know if my son will do that. Comment 1. There is so much in this post. NTA. It's very kind of you to let her stay with you. First, you need to sit your son down and have a good hard talk with him about responsibility. Second, is the gal sure she wants to keep the baby? She is 17. How is she going to manage life as a whole? 3. Are they absolutely sure the baby is your son's? This sounds like a very bad question, but they are both young. 4. Will taking away his college funds help this situation? It will most likely ruin your relationship with your son. 5. Are you gonna take long-time responsibilities of the gal and the baby? I'm just saying. There is so much more to this situation than just taking away his college funds and letting her stay with you. There is a baby on the way and a lot more needs to be looked into so the baby can have a good life when it comes. Comment 2. ESH, because both your son and Lisa deserve to have someone in their corner. Did he react well? No, but telling him he doesn't deserve anyone in his corner is not parenting. He's 18, talk to him and educate him. You're supporting Lisa and abandoning your son. He might be scared and unsure. He might also just be a J, but until you take the time to talk to him you won't know. Peace, taking away the entire college fund is a step too far, I think. Making him work to financially contribute to his kid would be worthwhile, or split the college fund in two.